Hello friends and enemies, welcome to or back to Happy For Now. It's me Isabel here with your Romancelandia monthly for January. These have now started migrating to being like a little bit earlier in the month, which I like because honestly it just means sooner from the last explosion, because I feel like every time I film that next weekend, that like I usually film these on Thursdays, so they come out on Sunday, like that weekend, that day span, something happens. Always. And last time it ends with us lawsuit stuff. So that's got its whole own video if you're interested in my breakdown so far. I will not be giving any updates right now on that situation because I'm waiting. I think we gotta wait right now. I think there's a lot going on to make us all feel one way and another way and back and forth as far as how certain people's PR agencies are handled. That's my opinion. But I will tell you that now. There's no update this week because I don't got it in me. But we do have some silly behavior in the last month. My goodness, some silly behavior. Let's dive directly in because honestly, there's more kind of funny, weird things than not funny things. Also, the funnest part is at the end of the video today, I will share my 2025 bingo board and we'll update my bingo board and talk about what got marked off. So you guys can play along and we'll continue to update it throughout the year. Probably at the end of every video. We'll see what happens. Okay, first up, there was a whole thing going around on Threads for a minute in which people were like, by people I do mean authors, were mad because other people were using phrases they use to market their books, but they're tropes and you can't copyright a trope. So one of these people was H.G. Carlton because it was like her "if I catch you" phrase she uses to market Haunting Adeline, I believe. And another author, I guess, used something similar in their marketing. And then another author is mad because Anna Wong used the pet name Butterfly in Twisted Love, but her book with the pet name Butterfly came out first. None of these are copyrightable things. Here are the threads of them. But yeah, I got a good giggle out of this because somebody else did like a joke tweet that they took down, unfortunately, in which they were like, you know, everyone needs to stop using he said. Like, I own that phrase. And I was like, yeah, that is the exact energy this gives. Next we have one of my nemesis, I guess, Liz Tomforde. So she had been picked up at Berkeley. That deal got dropped. And now Sourcebooks has picked up her Windy City series. And if you ever want to question that critique and cancel culture in any way impacts authors, this is another example of it because there has been lots of critique about her books by Black people and the Black characters in her books. And the fact that we are here now. Cancel culture is very real, y'all. Very real. But yeah, I have a deep discomfort because her books originally when picked up by Berkeley were going to be published in February. Like the repub was going to start then, and that's a weird choice. Okay, next we have Jessica Hall, who got into hot water this month because her husband decided to reply to someone's post. So a reader posted that they can't believe they DNF'd a book this year for the following reason. They DNF'd it because the black side character entered a room carrying a bucket of fried chicken with 2 white girls on his arms talking about, "I love me some white meat." That is so inappropriate. That is like so inappropriate. I was stunned when I read this thread, first of all. Like, I was truly shocked. I was like, wait, what? And then Jessica Hall's husband replies to the thread. I've got his replies here to you. And this thread did not name the author. And it's basically like, Jessica has 3 beautiful Black children. And the book was dedicated to her Black mother-in-law. How dare you? And her Black mother-in-law is now dead. I don't know. I'm a white lady. And like, obviously my opinion on this to an extent is invalid. But I also feel like I don't think that excuses it. It doesn't, like, that doesn't make it okay. You are not excused from a racism if you are married to that person whose race you did a racism of. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not a negated thing. So what? The husband then continued to say basically that this reader is a bully and their platform is just there to bash authors. Once again, we need to stay out of a reviewer's space. Is a reviewer's space. Authors need to not. Don't engage. Your husband should not be engaging on your behalf either. And I just think it's weird that I don't feel like that's a valid excuse. There is no valid excuse for what was in this book, in my opinion. There's no, this is the same thing as My Friend Was Mexican with the Kate Stewart book. It's not okay. Lord, we're here again, y'all. The reappearance of another person that will not go away has occurred already. It happened less than 7 days into the new year. Freydis Moon has reappeared. They have a new book coming out. Here's the cover. Here's their little blurb. And yeah, we didn't even make it a full week and this all came out. Basically, Freydis is marketing their new title, which is like a fallen angel something situation. I did not pay attention because I don't care. I'm not going to read it. The choice to market this new book, this new title, with books by authors previously involved in Freydis Moon scandals, like not like they were not part of Freydis Moon's, like they were part of the call out. They were part of authors who got bullied by Freydis Moon. What are you doing? What are you doing? What on earth? My God. You know, I would have lost that bet. I would have immediately lost the bet if you asked me if I thought Freydis Moon was going to show up this quickly in the new year. Immediately would have lost the bet. But here we are. Next, let's talk about Fable. This is a reading app platform that recently had their 2024 year wrapped. Oh boy, y'all, I will throw them up. I'm going to like rough quote these. I'm not going to directly quote them. Basically, they used AI to give you your reader summary for the year. And this was a disaster, which is not surprising because I know somebody's gonna be like, well, AI, this, that, the other. No, AI is bad. We should not be using AI in these scenarios. And this is where you can't tell me AI is inherently not racist because AI is built by man. That means that there's going to be racism in it. And this proved it because they told someone to surface for the occasional white author. And then someone who reads a lot of queer books told them to read a straight cis white man's perspective. This was wild. But also, like, they could have done this and just like, you read this, and like you get this quote without having it be like AI generated. One of these was on a Black reader's profile, so like that's also just kind of weird. I think it's just a strange choice. Fable did, I will say, I commend them for this. They addressed this pretty quickly as far as like removing the feature and addressing the concerns. I will link to some videos down below if you're curious to see their responses to this all and what that looks like, because I do think, like I said, it was pretty well addressed. But I also want to note this isn't Fable's first misstep, because there is an Indigenous creators book club that they promoted as for the Savage Soul or something. I've got screenshots here. I know a lot of creators moved their book clubs off of Fable now officially because they just do not agree with everything that happened here. And yeah, I am very curious to see what the full outcome of this is eventually for Fable, because I don't think overall this looks great, you know? Like, I just think this is a concern at the end of the day, because yikes. Next, we have another AI situation in which a Bookstagrammer has called out an author for their use of AI in their covers. Okay, so this one I'm not going to say the Bookstagrammer's name because she went private because of the bullying she experienced for this call out from the author and the author's fans. So, she called out that Tracy Sumner's books have AI covers, and here is the screenshot of the story where she breaks down the different ones. There's like a hand melting into it. It's just like, it's really bad. I have never seen these authors' books before, so I had no idea. Like feet that are weird. Just a lot of the telltale AI things were in these covers. And Tracy Sumner, the author, did not respond well. And that's just really disappointing. You know, it's obvious she was using certain historical romance covers as inspo for these. And I don't, you know, again, I love seeing old clinch covers, but we cannot use AI to make old clinch covers, y'all. That's like not the point. But yeah, this is an author for me that's ended up on my, well, we're not going to try your books list, because I just am not going to stand for an author that like thinks using AI is okay, much less chooses to bully someone who decides to tell them this. All right. Don't worry, there's more AI this month. There's so much AI this month. Let's talk about Audible real quick, because again, there's just so much. Audible is doing an advertising campaign all over TikTok right now, and I'm assuming other places, where they have people who narrate audiobooks say that the perfect listening speed is 1x speed as it was intended. And that just feels gross and icky, in my opinion. I don't think as a platform that wants people to spend their money on on audiobooks to listen to, that you should want people to feel judged or like they're wrong for how they listen to a book. And then also I was seeing some discourse on this because like they even posted on Audible Australia like these ins and outs that contradict each other completely. I'm not going to fully go into them, but they're really funny. Like not judging people's reading, but like also listening to books at 1x speed and this, that, and the other. Like very strange behavior. But someone I will link below was discussing how they feel like the take to listen at 1x speed is so that Audible can get away with using more AI narration, because you wouldn't notice some of the issues in an AI narrator if you're listening at a slower speed than if you were listening, let's say, even at probably 1.5 to 2. So I think that's really interesting. And I don't know, I just think it's a weird choice by Audible. Libro FM was like, listen how you want, of course, as they should. But yeah, it's just another reason to like side-eye Audible a little bit, you know? The biggest drama of the month, in my opinion, to an extent, is Call Me Kris. This is a comedian creator on TikTok, and I guess she's on YouTube now, which I didn't know. I knew she'd like moved to Texas from Canada, which I was like, interesting choices. She did this whole video where she read and reviewed smut books. This video was sponsored by Grammarly. The blowback was enough that she had to remove the sponsorship. People were like, absolutely not. And I don't disagree. Kris used clips of other creators who felt very betrayed by the clip usage of them, which that does technically, I believe, fall under fair use. I don't know that you could really battle it, but I do think it would have been a courtesy to ask them if she could use their clips, and or also, you know, make it so people didn't know who it was, maybe. I don't know. I feel like there were ways to do this without outing people. But Kris, after the blowback, changed the title 9 times. I do believe the video has now been privated, last I checked, or unlisted, so if it was in your playlist, you can maybe still watch it, but I do not believe you can, like, go find it on her profile. Basically, though, Kris really threw up some what I consider dog whistles in the bookish space around things, including in her titles, which I'm going to read you these titles because I think it's fascinating. Book talk is wild. Is TikTok crossing the line with these spicy books? These viral TikTok smut books are really gross. These viral TikTok smut books should be illegal. Viral smut book TikTok is so gross. Viral smut book TikTok is getting disgusting. Children are reading smut books thanks to TikTok. TikTok's gross obsession with smutty books. And women on TikTok are obsessed with these smutty books. Again, these feel like dog whistly to me in the sense of like people who are not interested in hearing what the reality of the romance genre is and isn't. So basically, here's a clip of Kris telling us that we needed to go touch grass if these are the kinds of books we read.
For You page and book collection is full of half-naked hockey players and heavily age-gap good girl affirmations. You might need to come up for some air, you know, touch some grass.
And then my favorite thing to see ever is the fact that Kris then proceeds to tell us that these illustrated covers are masking and masquerading as children's books, as seen here.
So, became privy to the fact that there's an entire hockey smut masking as children's novels subgenre with unbearably unimaginable titles such as The Score, The Deal, The Mistake, Rookie Move, Wicked Serve, and Pucking Around. Also, Behind the Net, jail. Go to jail. But the list quite literally goes on forever. Like, there's so many of these, like, smut books masking as kids' books kind of thing. I don't understand. But
as you saw, Kris also tried to say that we're attempting / the romance community, whatever you want to call it, is trying to market adult titles to children via illustrated covers. And this argument for me has become a red flag so fast. It is such a red flag to me because we are in such a bad place when it comes to book banning in this country. And I say that because Kris lives in the United States now. We are in such a bad place with book banning. It is such an issue. And I think perpetuating the idea that all of these covers of illustrated covers of adult romances look the same as all of these illustrated covers, which are children, middle grade, and young adult titles. It's just not there. It's not there. It is obvious to me what is an adult title and what is a children's title. It's not that hard. It's also not hard to go to the correct section of the bookstore. And it's not the world's job to be the parent to the child that picks up the wrong age-identified book. That is on the parent. The parent is responsible for this, okay? And some kids can read these things younger than others, and some can't. And it's not our place to judge. There are much more dangerous ways to explore some of these things than reading it in a book. Now, I get the argument we see most often with this is with the icebreaker cover. And like, yes, that cover does kind of not look like an adult title, but it doesn't take much to figure out that it is an adult title either. So I just think this argument is so ridiculous, and it's such an attempt to try and not align yourself with alt-right thinking when in reality all you're doing is like flagging us down and telling us that you do actually hold a lot of those beliefs. Anyways, on to more stuff about Kris. She does a lot of true crime content apparently, and I think that's funny that you're gonna sit here and talk shit on smutty romance books when you do true crime content. Okay. I will say also Kris did double down in the comments to people who were saying things about romance books that was less than kind, and including, you know, telling another reader that she doesn't believe rape and certain sexual assaults and traumas and any of that should be in books ever. And again, you have done videos on true crime. Pot, meat, kettle. I mean, right there. Now, Kris then did release an apology in which she basically didn't really apologize and just acknowledges that she had no idea how big the romance book talk community was, which I think is BS, because if these are showing up on your FYP enough, one, you're interacting with things that are getting them on your FYP. Two, if you click the hashtag, the amount of videos that show up kind of indicate a level of popularity. And yeah, I just think overall, all around, this entire video was gross and awful. There's ways to critique and criticize the community and things in romance books, but when you're coming in as an outsider and your entire critique hinges on people are gross for reading them and children are reading these, you're not actually like coming to us in good faith to have a critique on the community. I do think the romance community as a whole, like if you're a part of certain segments, are having these conversations, are talking about these things, are having conversations about what book banning could mean for us and things like that. But again, when an outsider comes in like this and just tells us all we're gross and to go touch grass, you know, it's a rightful response. This is also a creator with 15 million on TikTok and like millions on YouTube. I don't know what her YouTube subscribers are, but a lot. She's got a huge platform. So in doing this video and using people's content, she did send people to these other people, right, whose videos she clipped, to go be shitty in their comments. I can almost guarantee it that happened. On top of opening up people to saying just really crappy things about people in her comments. All right, let's talk about something kind of fun, kind of interesting. Earlier this month, ColourPop was teasing a new collection with roses. And there was a theory and like something that said High Fae on it. And there was like, oh no, is this... Everyone was like, is this ACOTAR? Are we getting an ACOTAR collection? No, we got a Romancelandia collection from ColourPop, which I appreciate. And I think it's kind of fun. I think these colors are really fun. I think it's a good color story for Romancelandia. And I just thought it was kind of cute that we got a Romancelandia collection from ColourPop. Back on our AI bullshit, y'all. An author used ChatGPT to write their books and left in ChatGPT's reply. So the author published the book. I will put the screenshot here and I'm going to read it to you. It says, certainly, here's an enhanced version of your passage, making Elena more relatable and injecting additional humor while providing a brief, sexy description of Gregory. Changes are highlighted in bold for clarity. This author is Casey Crowne, and it is bananas to me that one, this got left in her book, but two, the apology she's attempted, also banana pants. So the author claimed in her apology on her PA's account that she was using AI to edit her books and not to write the books. And I disagree, because I feel like that part that was left in there clearly indicates otherwise. But also, I can't imagine being comfortable as an author putting your work into an AI that is going to keep that work and repurpose that work for other things. And then like being comfortable with that, because like you shouldn't want your books in the AI machine forever to be spit out for someone else. Like that's not great. But then it came out. It's so good. You know, it can never be one issue. It comes out this author has plagiarized a blurb for one of her books and has been called out on it and has not done anything about it. So there's that. And then last but not least, let's talk about Onyx Storm before we go over my bingo board. Oh my god, I'm so excited for the bingo board, y'all. Okay, so Onyx Storm just came out. Like literally, you're watching this. It came out last Tuesday. And this was fun. I was watching people have meltdowns on TikTok. Apparently the Target launch was a disaster and people were devastated, like sobbing on the internet that they were not able to get the Target special edition. But my favorite part of all of this is that then someone did get the Target special edition, and I will link the video down below, but I'll include some screenshots from it. The art in the Target special edition is like generic dragon stock art. So like stock image art that you can buy to put in a thing. That's what's in this one. But if for some reason you are still looking for this book, it isn't a limited release. It's just exclusive to Target. So most likely there will be reprints. It will be available at Target again at some point. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Are you ready though? Because we're going to talk about my bingo board. I'm very excited for this. I realize also that some of this is off center and whatever. I will fix it at some point. Let's discuss my 2025 book bingo, specifically on the discourse. So I'm going to just read you my squares across each row, and then we'll talk about what I have checked off so far. I probably could have checked off some more of these, but I'm trying to make it a little harder on myself, so we'll see. First up, we have fanfic with 3 boxes. I know we have at least 3 big fic titles coming out this year that were reworked, so I feel like fanfic's going to come up. And then we have cheating scandal. We had the cheating scandal last year with the girl and the guy and the other girl from BuzzFeed, who the guy like read ACOTAR and was like giving quotes to ACOTAR. I don't know, it happened once. And we had the Callie Reed's one, so like I feel like we might have another cheating scandal this year. Then we have another race faker. So last year Freydis Moon was outed, I just feel like it's going to happen again. It has to. Like, it just seems to be a thing that happens often. Another one I have is Book Talk versus Booksta. So I do think there's going to be some sort of fight again between Bookstagram and Book Talk over nothing, over silliness. I just think they love to fight each other, and it's fine. I think we might see a Colleen Hoover movie canceled. I know Verity has been picked up, and I'm curious if Verity might get canceled due to the It Ends With Us situation. Someone is going to be upset by the end of the year that books are not $10 again. Guaranteed. Kira Lewis, I don't know what she's going to do. She's going to pop up in some way because she always does. And like, that's cool. It's just my prediction. Then I have 3 boxes here for authors in review spaces. This seems like pretty likely to happen. I mean, we almost had it with the Jessica Hall thing, right? Like, I didn't count it because it was her husband, but if she had chimed in, we would already had a box. I think we'll have a subscription box scandal again. We've not had a big one yet, and I don't know if, I don't think the Illumicrate one counts yet, that just happened, but like, I'm expecting some sort of subscription box scandal this year. I also think we will have another influencer program upset. People were devastated last year that they didn't get into the Berkeley influencer program, and I just think we're going to see that with another influencer program or the same one this year. The other thing, I think we're going to see a new bookish app that actually takes off. So the caveat here is it has to be a new bookish app that people start using. We'll see if that happens. I don't know, but I think it could. There's a lot. I just got into beta for one. So there's a lot of them like being tossed around. So yeah, I think someone is going to get into the books aren't political debate in the next year easily. Like, but it's going to be something really silly, most likely. But yeah, I mean, that's going to come up. My free spaces, you can't read that much. We've already had that discourse. People were upset that people had already read a book and it had been like 2 days into the year. And I just was like, okay, calm down. Then we have AI at the scene of the crime, basically 3 times. I probably should have done 6, honestly, or 12 boxes, because I feel like we'll get one a month that's AI. We had multiples this month. Then I also have audiobook narrator, because I do think we've had one every year now get into trouble. Then I have plagiarism, but it's not. So somebody accuses someone of plagiarism a la Powerless and the Red Queen series, and it's not actually plagiarism. Somebody is going to do another thing to attempt to disrupt the book industry. We had some tech bros do this last year. I don't think the story made it into Romancelandia, but someone else is going to attempt. And then I think we're going to have a big upset with readers this year again. This seems to happen yearly. And we have one that I almost could have included, but I'm gonna hold out. Specifically, this is going to be when the readers who exclusively read romances by cis white ladies are mad at readers who critique those books because they're part of that community and or somewhat involved in the LGBTQIP plus identity. That's when this will get ticked off. My pie in the sky is that Emily Henry loses Goodreads 2025 awards for romance. It might happen. Abby Jimenez was a lot closer than a lot of other authors have previously been, so I'm like, fingers freaking crossed, y'all. And then, of course, we have actually it is plagiarism. So when plagiarism does actually happen. I think we're going to have another go around about content warnings. This seems to happen pretty regularly. I don't know. I just have it in my gut because we had that weird one last year where people were mad, where that one lady was very upset in her car that content warnings are at the beginning of the book and she just constantly accidentally reads them. My other one is that Onyx Storm is bad. I think we'll have confirmation for that one next month, hopefully. I don't know. We'll see if I get to mark that box off or not. But I'm very curious to see how people feel about that one. Then we have Freydis Moon, who was only going to get 1 box. It was just going to be 1 box. But I had to put 2 because 7 days into the new year and we already had a Freydis Moon incident. I was like, I guess we're going to have another one probably. So here we go. Then I also have Book Event Disaster. I feel like there's so many events now and it's just bound to happen. We had 2 last year. We had Readers Take Denver. And we had that weird Bridgerton ball, so something's gonna go wrong. And then our ... deserve love. This square is for when I see someone make the argument that Nazis or certain people that don't deserve a happily ever after in a romance book because they are aspirational to an extent are making that claim. This box gets checked off. So racist, you name it. Any of those come up in conversation and we are going forward. So here's my board now as of the end of January. I have the AI box marked off twice for the Fable incident and the Casey Crowne incident. And then I also marked off the Freydis Moon box. I'm waiting on the plagiarism one because technically, yes, Casey Crowne could be the plagiarism one for that blurb, but we're gonna wait. I want to see if something else happens. So yeah, that is my bingo board for 2025. Feel free to let me know if you see anything that you think would fit those bingo boards. squares. But if you don't want to do that, that's also okay. I would love to know if you have a bingo board for the year. I know I'm not the only one who does this, but I don't know. I just felt like this was the year to do a bingo board again. So yeah, that is everything for this month's Romancelandia. I'm sure as I get this up on Friday for my members that something will happen, because it always does. So thank y'all for hanging out with me. Let me know what you feel about January's kickstart to Romancelandia. How do you feel about everything that happened this month? If you don't want to do any of that, you can leave me a checkmark emoji. We'll do a checkmark emoji or something like that, because the bingo board or an X, take your pick. One of the two. And as always, I'll have links to everything I talked about that I can link to for you down below. Links to be my friend anywhere on the internet. Links to join my memberships. If you want early access to things like Romancelandia, there is a tier for that. It's just $1.99. And you get access to 25 and 2025. Anyways, that's all I got for you. And yeah, I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye!
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions, we'll get away. This is what we waited for.